Hi, welcome back to Outdoor Gear and Skills. I didn't post very many videos last month, and so I wanted to start December out by fixing that and talking about a couple of different things that I've experienced recently. I currently live in Houston, Texas, and I went back to Utah for Thanksgiving. So we left a week ago, and we drove took about 26 hours to drive out there. I wasn't sure if I was going to drive or fly home, and so I took my non-compliant backpack with me. This is my Outdoor Products Wayfarer backpack that I've had for quite a while. I've done some videos on that. I love the backpack, and I've had to get to the point, as you're going to see here in just a second, where I have a compliant, what I call a TSA compliant backpack. So anytime I fly, there's nothing in there that is going to get flagged by TSA. And then I have my non-compliant that I just have at home when I'm here. And I chose to take the non-compliant bag because of a lot of stuff that's in it. So I ended up flying home yesterday. I didn't know if I was going to drive or fly home. I ended up flying home. So I had to empty a bunch of stuff out of my backpack. One of those is my SOG Fast Talk. This is my original. I've got a few of these, but this is my black handled one that I've beat up, throwing it and using it. I've spray painted it a few times, and I love this thing. It's fantastic. I love it. Obviously can't take it on a plane. Now some of this stuff, well, most of it, I could have checked in a bag, but I wanted to send it home with my kids that were driving home, so they had some stuff. So I could have put some of this in there, but definitely none of this stuff I could get through security in a carry-on like my backpack. Another thing is my Cold Steel Recon Tanto. This is, I don't know if they called it the Carbon V or Carbon 5, but this was a knife that I've had for many, many years, and I love this steel, and there's a great story behind this for another time. So, you know, that knife obviously is not going through, so I wanted to send that back with them as well. And then I just had, a lot of times I can get paracord through, but you know, there's a 50-foot shank, that's probably 50 feet. 10 feet of rope from Harbor Freight. I don't know if they'd let me carry that on. Definitely not letting me carry on the shell from a 50 caliber rifle that I shot on my 50th birthday. So that was a lot of fun. So they're not letting that on. They're not letting on my Smith & Wesson XP. Maybe this wasn't Smith & Wesson, this one. I think I got this through Cabela's XPG knife. I love this knife, so I carry that in my backpack, and then just a little knife with a little razor, and backups to that, a lighter. They're not letting me on with that. Pepper spray. You're not supposed to put this in your checked on bag either, because of the lack of pressure, so that wasn't going to go anywhere with me. That was just bug spray, so, or rub on itch. Not sure about a tourniquet, if they're going to give me crap for that, so I sent that back. Lighter, little saw, little can opener, little razor blade. All these little things I keep in this black pouch, so I had to go through and gut it. And then a glow stick. I don't know if they'd let you get that through or not. It's not a huge loss, but it's one of those things, why do I want to go buy it again if I already have it? One thing I definitely can't get through security is these big channel locks. I actually use this blanket that I got from an airline, and I keep it wrapped up with a couple tools so the sharp edges don't rip through my bag. And I had a smaller version of this before that I got stuck in TSA that I didn't know was in this bag, and I thought it was just the blanket, and so I had a smaller version of both of these tools and based on the size, they had to get a supervisor and they let me go through. Definitely these two are not going through, but it's something that is great to have where I can just get leverage that I can't just do by hand if I need to do anything. So I keep those. And then a pry bar, definitely not letting me get that on. So, you know, it's just, I spent a lot of time always double checking this backpack when I would fly with it. And sometimes I forget, and then I'd go back, you know, and I'd load my stuff back up, try to get everything out. But it's easy to forget you've got a lighter in there. And it's just one thing, I just don't want to cause a problem at TSA. I don't want them to hassle me. I don't want to get hung up in line, especially on a holiday weekend. So because of all of that, you know, I think it was the right move making a TSA compliant. When I know I'm just gonna fly, there's nothing in there that's gonna flag me or get me hung up. And then I've got my non-compliant bag that's got my real world crap in it that I'm gonna use when I'm just out and about. I'm just driving around, or, you know, I'm road tripping and it's not giving me an issue. So it was one of those things where I went through and went, oh crap, I forgot I had a lot of things like razor blades and lighters and stuff in there that just kind of sit in my bag until I need them, because I don't use them very often. And then, you know, one thing that was interesting is when we're doing our road trip, you know, we're going to Utah, we know it's going to be cold, and we had you know, warm blankets and all that stuff with us. But, you know, when I left here last Tuesday, when we left Houston, I think it was 82 for the high that day. I came back yesterday and it was 49, and it, you know, feels cold. I know we're not cold compared to other parts of the country and all that, but for this area right now and everything, it's pretty cold. And so I've got my new Costco zip. It's not really like it's a hoodie, I guess, but it's more of a sweater that's doing a pretty good job of keeping me warm in the backyard because it's a little cool in the shade. But, you know, just having a lot of this gear I think is really important, and I am constantly evaluating what I need, what I should be carrying, especially when I'm here in Texas and I'm not road tripping, or I'm not traveling. You know, what do I carry with me in a small bag to try to have a couple items with me all the time, versus I'm gonna drive maybe an hour away or longer and I want to have some stuff. But, you know, all of this gear right here, you know, serves a specific purpose, and having it in that bag is really important. But it's just one of those exercises when I had to go empty all this when I knew I was going to fly home, that I had to dump all this crap out, send it, you know, back with my kids in the vehicle. And just a good reminder that that's a good system. So I think it's important with the gear we have to have a good system of how we use it, how we store it, care for it, you know, what's where, what do we take in different circumstances. So I'd love to hear, you know, does anyone else do, you know, multiple versions of backpack or gear bag or that kind of thing with you, and what kind of items, you know, do you keep, different tools, things like that. I'd love to hear what you are carrying as your gear. As always, thanks for watching Outdoor Gear and Skills, and we'll see you out there.